Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vracha Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vracha Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shishi Radha Madhava Ki Jai Shishi Palat Lakshmi Singhadev Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Itai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So today we have the good fortune to be again in a holy place in Simhachalam together in our association of devotees and listening to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. And Saturdays we always read from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now, Kishori-kun doesn't understand English, I guess. No? What is speaking?
English. I mean, I thought you cannot understand the other language. German. Sorry.
Aha.
Speak English.
Du verstehst auch kein Englisch, oder was? Gibt es jemanden, der übersetzen kann für die beiden Ladies? Ja, ja. Verstehe schon.
Just mix both languages.
Huh?
Tell in German and then in English.
That's okay for you, but for me it's quite exhausting. Okay, let's see. Habt ihr ein Deutsch?
Ich kann übersetzen bis vielleicht bleiben wir so lange es geht noch.
Vielen Dank, Ananda Krishna Prabhu. So that's the real, always ready to serve. This is what we're aiming for. If there's a need, we're ready for service. Thank you. So, okay, we're reading from the, but hast du ein deutsches Chaitanya Charitamrita? Tejas, kannst du mal, ist da eins im Bücherregal, kannst du mal schauen? Madhya Lila 20. Madhya Lila 20. Oh, ich habe noch was vergessen. Madhya Lila 20. Hast du es? Okay. Okay. Sanadana kahe Krishna amina hijani. Sanadana kahe Krishna amina hijani. Amara udara hetu tumara kripamani. Amara udara hetu tumara kripamani. Sanadana kahe Krishna amina hijani. Amara udara hetu tumara kripamani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Please chant. Sanatana kahe Krishna amina hijani. Amara udara hetu tumara kripamani. Ladies? Sanatane kahe Krishna ami nahi jani. Amara udara hetu tomara kripamani. Sanatane kahe Krishna ami nahi jani. Amara udara hetu tomara kripamani. Sanatane kahe. Sanatana Goswami said, Krishna, Lord Krishna, Ami, I, Nahi Jani, do not know, Amara, my, Udhara Hedu, the cause of release, Tomara, your, Kripa, mercy, Mani, I accept. Translation, and later on we come to a purport of His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sanatan replied, I do not know who Krishna is. As far as I am concerned, I have been released from prison only by your mercy. Okay, Vers 65. Kemane chutila bali brabu prasan kaila atyo panda sabakatha tenho sun naila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked Sanatan Goswami, how were you released from prison? Sanatan then described the story from the beginning to the end. Prabhu kahe tomar duhi bhai brayak milila rupa anupama dunhe vrindavana gela. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I met your two brothers, Rupa and Anupam, at Prayag. They have now gone to Vrindavan. Tapana mishrere ara chantara shikarere Prabhu agnaya sanatana milila tunhare. By the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami met both Tapana Mishra and Chandrasekhar. Tapana Mishra tabe tanre kaila nimantrana Prabhu kahe kshaura kraha yaha sanatana. Tapana Mishra then extended an invitation to Sanatana Goswami, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sanatan to go get a shave. Chandrasekhara Prabhu kahe bolana evishe durakare yaha imhare lana. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Chandrasekhar and asked him to take Sanatana Goswami with him. He also asked him to take away Sanatan's present dress. Bhatra karana tanre ganga snana karaila sikhara aniya tanre nutana vastra dila. Chandrasekhar then made Sanatana Goswami look like a gentleman. He took him to bathe in the Ganga, and afterwards he brought him a new set of clothes. And there we have a purport. The words Bhatra Karana are significant in this verse. Due to his long hair, mustache and beard, Sanatana Goswami looked like a Daravisha or hippie. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not like Sanatana Goswami's hippie features, he immediately asked Chandrasekhar to get him shaved clean. If anyone with long hair or a beard wants to join this Krishna conscious movement and live with us, he must similarly shave himself clean. The followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu consider long hair objectionable. Sanatana Goswami was saved from was was saved from hellish condition. Maharurava, by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maharurava is a hell wherein animal killers are placed. In this regard, refer to Srimad Bhagavatam 5:26, 10 to 12. Okay, Srila Prabhupada wants us to have a dip in the Srimad Bhagavatam and know about the hell Maharavara. And there he gives us the hint of Canto 5, chapter 26, verse 10 to 12. I just read the translations. My dear king, a person who appropriates another's legitimate wife, children, or money is arrested at the time of death by the fierce Yamadutas, who bind him with the rope of time and forcibly throw him into a hellish planet known as Tamishra. On this very dark planet, the sinful man is chastised by the Yamadutas, who beat and rebuke him. He is starved and he is given no water to drink. Thus the wrathful assistants of Yamaraj cause him severe suffering, and sometimes he faints from this chastisement. Okay. A person who accepts his body as his self works very hard day and night for money to maintain his own body and the bodies of his wife and children. While working to maintain himself and his family, he may commit violence against other living entities. Such a person is forced to give up the body and his family at the time of death. When he suffers the reaction for his envy for other creatures by being thrown into the hell called Ravana. In this life, an envious person commits violent acts against many living entities. Therefore, after his death, when he is taken to hell by Yamaraj, those living entities who were hurt by him appear as animals called Rurus to inflict very severe pain upon him. Learned scholars call this hell Raurava. Not generally seen in this world, the Ruru is more envious than a snake. Okay, and the last one.
Can you say the verse again, please?
This is 5:26, 10 to 12. And 12 is, punishment in the hell called Maharava is compulsory for a person who maintains his own body by hurting others. In this hell, Ruru animals known as Kravyata torment him and eat his flesh. So, Srila Prabhupada wants us to read about this hell, because he refers here to Sanatana Goswami. He was saved from this hell, Maharaurava. So why you think Sanatana or Srila Prabhupada considers Mahaprabhu saved, Sanatana Goswami saved from the hell? We remember what was the features of this hell? What was who ends up in this hell?
Who troubles others using his body.
Excuse me?
One who troubles others using his body.
One who troubles others, and especially who is be troubled, or what is the crime? How we trouble other living entities? Meat eating and what? Yes. Meat eating, yeah. Yeah, this is the greatest trouble, and as we can see all around when we look around, especially our neighbors, the meat-eating industry is very prominent in these days. Now, hell is also something what actually comes in our mind when we especially come from a Christian background, because in this background or in religion of duality, there's always the good side and the bad side. And the good side is, of course, the side of the heaven, and the bad side is the place of the hell. And one has to situate oneself, or one is situated by others, into one of these sides, the good side or the bad side. And mostly this is then forever. And this is the concept of hell, as we learned, who comes from a Western background, right? But here we see that hell is not something what is eternally, where you reside eternally. It's more like a school where we have to learn some lessons what we didn't learn in this condition where we write in here. And Sanatana Goswami, he was considered a Muslim. Because why? Why he was considered to be a Muslim? He was serving under Muslims, yes, right. So he was working for Muslims, and Muslims are considered to be meat eaters, right? And if you serve a meat eater, you are also meat eater, and you get involved in the karmic reactions by this class of men. Now we may say, okay, we also live amongst meat eaters. Apparently, I don't know if one can believe statistics, they are decreasing in Germany or in this area. So there's hope for us. But still, we are in this environment, Jai Jai Shishi Palat Lakshmana Shingadev Ki Jai, where we are we can see it as we are trapped in the situation. But from Vaishnava perspective, we are not trapped. We are here to serve in this situation. And a Vaishnava, he always sees the opportunity of service. And he adjusts according to the service in time, place, and circumstances. So we are here from this point of view. We are in the courtyard of, house court is always this hell, Maharaurava, right, in this hell. We are here in the courtyard with all the people waiting to get entrance, right? So, and sometimes we may be a little bit concerned that, next time the door opens and the hell and the Yamadutas come out to get the next ones in, the next victims to be told, to be taught, that we maybe not be too close, that they don't track us in as well, right? And but this is the place where actually Srila Prabhupada himself came. He came in a time where vegetarianism or veganism even was kind of a very, outspoken thing. What was not there in this society. And he came there to save us. And now claiming to be followers of Srila Prabhupada, who himself followed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And remember, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came actually here in this place. He knew it's Kali Yuga, and therefore he came. He came because his devotees, they asked for him, please appear. Advaita Acharya was worshipping him, was calling out for him. So he appeared. Yeah? And falling in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and especially in the family of Srila Prabhupada, it is our duty. It is our duty to somehow or other go in the courtyard of Maharaurava and get as many people out of the courtyard as possible and bring them somehow or other to a human form of life. Because it is here, and Srila Prabhupada explains this in the purport of this verses, what we read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, that animals, we may say, well, this is often the argument, put forward when we say you should not eat animals. Well, animals also eat animals, and the human is also just some other kind of animal, right? So, but Srila Prabhupada explains here that animals, they don't have any karma from this, because they're made for this. Hey, Charu. They are, this is their purpose, right? They are made for a special reason. Like sometimes we may think, how to say, spider webs considered to be dirty, or who likes to have spider webs in his room? Nobody, right? So we take them out. But then we are very disturbed if flies are in our room. Who want to have flies in his room? Also nobody. So, but actually the spiders with their webs, they're meant to catch the flies. So if you want to, sit down, Charlie. If you want to get rid of flies, just leave the spider webs, right? Because they are created to kind of, make a balance in this situation. So in everything, in the creation of the Lord, nothing is there what is useless or without a purpose. And especially, No, flies have a purpose in the creation. You can later on go into this, what is the purpose of flies, but everything has a purpose. The Lord doesn't make anything without a purpose, right? So animals don't get any karma from this, because they do this because they're meant for doing this. One animal eats another animal, and in this way they keep a balance, a natural balance in nature, right? And but man, when he transgresses his borders, his restrictions of his duty, of his dharma, of his man-made dharma, then he get reactions for this, right? So therefore, and being in this courtyard, we somehow or other have to show that we are different, that there's a way out. In the same way, we have to kind of give them the opportunity to relate to us. Now here, and in this time, we come also, when we see the purport, we have some matters of dress code. And I know nowadays in our ISKCON society, this becomes a topic. Sometimes Vaishnavas even argue quite heavily about this topic. What is, in one sense, we see there is a need to discuss these things, because obviously there are some kind of misconceptions or misunderstandings, or how to put it, miscommunication maybe. On the other hand, if somebody from outside comes in our temples and hear us talking about how we dress, although he expect to come to a Hare Krishna temple and hear something about Krishna, then he thinks, what's going on here? Why they arguing the whole time about dress codes, about genders, about who should sing, who should not sing? This person is probably a little bit disappointed and maybe go away and think, I expect something else in a Hare Krishna temple. I expect to be told about Krishna. So this is something what we have to concern about it, but not so much that it overtakes our main purpose why we are here, to teach people about Krishna, and in this way save them from hellish condition. But we have to see that we have to adjust to time, place, and circumstances to kind of build a bridge to different people from different circumstances. They come from different backgrounds. So, and therefore, we may adjust things like, for example, dress code according to the need. And this is because this is not what Prabhupada, the main thing what Prabhupada wanted from us is not that we become models in the circus of clothes, that we are the ones, these are the ones who wear robes, Indian robes, like bed sheets. What was Prabhupada's purpose first for us to represent in the world? Yeah, Prabhupada puts it in a very simple word. He even mentioned it here in the purport. He wanted that Sanatana Goswami look like what? Like a respectable gentleman. Yes. What is a gentleman? Just look at the word, the English word gentleman. Somebody who is very gentle. Right? And actually, somebody who is a gentleman is somebody who is respected also by everybody because he's so gentle. And I would even say nowadays we cannot just limit it to the word gentleman, also gentlewoman, yes. Because we need not only gentlemen, we need also gentlewomen. Because half of the population of this earth are women, at least half, maybe more. So, and for all these different classes, for all these different kinds, we need bridges where people can come over and cross over. Get out of the courtyard of Maharavana. Raurava. Yes. And therefore, we have to see the need of different adjustments. If you have, Charu, often we went to the dentist last time, right? And the dentist, for every need to fix a tooth, he has different tools, right? And same for us. We are kind of spiritual dentists. We have to pull out the weak teeth or have to fix the weak teeth. So we use different kinds and methods and different preaching styles to come close to the bad teeth, to fix it. Or to take it out, Charu. Charu, how many teeth they took out of you? 4? Now that's a funny thing. Nowadays, the dentists, when they see a tooth, a child tooth, how you call it, this milk tooth, Milchzahn we say in Germany, no, they don't drill in to fix it. They say, makes no sense. Just take it out. Like Charu was, like, oh what? Each time he had a little hole, zack, out. And he got lost the 4 teeth of it, right? Yeah, but he was very brave. Not a single tear in his eyes. Yeah. And it was a good example for his brother that he also brushes his teeth well. So we have to learn this technique. And most important, we have to learn this technique to really come close to the bad tooth. But more important is to not argue about different methods of how different dentists come close to the teeth. You know, each of us has to become expert, in our field. And Krishna, if we sensitive, Krishna gives us a field where we can come close to certain kind of people. Like for example, I do many yagyas and samskaras. You came here for the samskara today? Yes, no? No, okay. But there will be a Indian party. I mean, today come many. Today we have a annaprasana, a grain giving ceremony with a fire and everything. Then we have 2 shaving ceremonies, 2 shavings, and 1 car puja. You came for the car puja? No. No. So 1 car puja as well, right? So, and this mostly done, especially something like shaving ceremony and car puja, this is mostly done by our Indian population, what now increases in Germany. What we are very happy about it, right? We just, was it 2 weeks ago, we met Mr. Modi. You know Mr. Narendra Modi, you know him? I know him personally now. No, not like this. But, so we have, I have to lots of exchange with our Indian population now here in Germany, right? So I have to somehow or other learn how to relate to this Indian population, And in fact, Lord Sri Krishna, or here in form as Lord Nrsingadev, he gave me even an Indian-bodied wife from Gujarat, right? She grew up in London, so she speaks more London English than Gujarat, but still, her mother is Gujarat, and so my wife also understands Gujarat. So in this way, there's a link, a natural link. This is what Lord Krishna gave me just, and this makes it very easy to relate to Indian population. Now we have, and therefore it's no problem. They see me in dhoti, you get inspired, or? I remember one time when we went after our wedding, we went to Gujarat to visit what is in the west is still, how to say, the peak of an iceberg. This family is in London, but what is on the water of the iceberg, this is still in Gujarat. Deep down there. The Patel colony in Baroda. Where are you from?
Bangalore.
From Bangalore, but you know Baroda?
Yeah.
You know Baroda? Where are you from?
Chennai.
From Chennai, yeah, but Baroda is a big city. And there's the Patel colony. So I'm part of the Patel colony in Baroda now, and Chora as well. And so, yes, so and in this time I traveled only only like this, because as a brahmachari I was very strict on this. And they saw the cousin of my wife. He picked us up to bring us somewhere with a car. And I said, I have to get ready. And I put on my dhoti and folded it like I learned it, like we learn in our temples, right? And he looked at me and said, I don't know how to do this. Because in India, mostly, you have this dhoti, it's like a trouser, you pull on, dhoti, right? Right? And he was impressed by that, right? And when Indians come for ceremony, the ladies mostly, they come with nice sari, still. But the boys, they come in blue jeans, And I said, then come on, we're sitting on a fire, please put on dhoti. And now, they know, they come in the dhoti. And sometimes even I see them coming blue jeans, going in the back door with the shoes, and they put a dhoti over the blue jean. That's very smart. Not what I meant, but that is very smart. Okay, can't say anything about it. And this is my field, right? So somebody else, like yesterday, I saw a picture, like it was 2 days ago, my Gurudev, who is a sannyasi, Gaudiya Vaishnava sannyasi, who is in sannyas dress, saffron with danda and everything. He went to a scholarly conference. And in this conference, there were many Western people. And who knows my Guru, His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Swami, he is very flexible. So then yesterday photos came around where he was in a shirt. Kishore Kundi saw? He had like a normal shirt, a blue, kind of a, can I show you later on? He had a shirt. No. So this makes him very accessible to this class of people who are Western scholars, and they take him serious. Right? Because in this area where we here in the West, Vaishnavas, they're not known as Vaishnavas. When we come here, now you were not here, when we come to the story of the Chaitanya Charitamrita here, Vaishnavas in India, back in the time of Sanatana Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they had a status, right? And this was a class of renunciants who concerned about their appearance, because this was important, because in this time so-called renunciants or whatever, they went under all kind of different dresses and appearances. So Mahaprabhu, he wanted to make it clear, okay, we are Vaishnavas, we are respectable Vaishnavas in India, we have a certain dress code and so forth. Again, here we had our, I don't say who it is, he is not right in the room, but he is here. We had our, when he was a Bhakta, now he's a big puchari. When he was a Bhakta, again, I had to go to flying to the dentist, I think for myself in this time. And he asked me, it was deep down in the winter, it was kind of February or something. And he asked me, can I come with you in the car? I want to distribute some books. Okay. And he got into my car, and he had a dhoti, just a dhoti and a chador, and the wool chador over him, over his head. And I looked at him and thought, are you serious? He said, yes, yes, yes. So I let him out, I went to the dentist, and then I came back, sat in the car, and watched him for a while. Obviously, you could see the frost was written not only in his face, his whole bones, everything was like, everybody could see that this poor guy is completely freezing the life out of his body, right? And he approached with a stack of books. Everybody looked at him like, are you serious? And he just went away, because only a mad person would dress in such a weather, and distributing books. Now, I mean, if you see a sadhu in the winter in Dev Prayag or somewhere wearing like this, you think, oh, he's a yogi. Here, nobody thinks, oh, that must be a yogi. Especially a yogi. A yogi is not sitting in Dev Prayag, like this poor, very nice devotee did, right? So, nobody could relate to it. No. If I go to this group, I have to do this. Right? I better stay far away from this group. So, of course, here we have to adjust to time, place, and circumstances, obviously. That's obviously. And I think this is actually, it's not even a matter of discussion, it's actually common sense. And to put on a dhoti doesn't make us automatically a gentleman. Putting on a suit and tie doesn't make us automatically a gentleman. Putting on tilak doesn't make us a gentleman like Prabhupada wanted. No, it's our gentle behavior. It's our gentle behavior. And this means that we show an example to the world that people say, oh, these Hare Krishnas, they are gentlemen. I want to be like them. Let me join their group and learn how to be such a wonderful person. I hear the quote, from a Muslim who quoted Muhammad and said that Muhammad actually said, the Muslim is one from whom everyone is saved. So nobody has to be afraid of a Muslim. We should tell them. you know, but this is what Muslims claim. And I think most of them, with all respect, also don't understand this. Because I think many religions, many religious paths, they're walking down the same road, looking after externals, not looking into into internals. So this is what I would like to see our society going forward, that we really, really concern how to be a gentleman and a gentlewoman. That other people, inspired, doesn't matter how they look, how close they are on the entrance of Mahararava, you know, that they say, that they turn around and say, oh, I want to be like this person. I want to be like this gentleman. This is a way of life I would like to live my life. And if we can do this, I think Prabhupada would be very, very happy. So that's some thoughts from my side now before I open this topic to discussion, and I hope we don't go in two sides discussions or whatever. I would just like to ask for your blessings that I really can apply these words, what I'm speaking, into my life and really understand what Srila Prabhupada and the devotees want from me, from us, from our family, and that we can please with our lives the community of Vaishnavas and be an ornament of the Vaishnava community. Doesn't matter what dress we chose, that people say, you know, I wanna associate with these people. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So yeah, please.
One small comment I would say, when we were coming by,
The whole world can hear you now.
yeah, when we were coming by taxi from the bus station, this taxi driver, he gave a very nice comment about this temple people. He said that they are very friendly and very nice people. You will enjoy your stay, he said that. So in this regards, I just want to share this with you. So
Hare Krishna. And in next Monday, just one thing more to your comment. Next Monday, and this coming Monday, the kindergarten group, where Charu went, now Charu is a school, now his brother is in kindergarten, they come to visit the temple because they have the days, how they call it, Christianity and others, where is it called? Others but not different. Yeah. You know, it's all of these Ukrainians coming in, also to Yandelsbrunn, also of course because of our endeavors as well. Now they have to deal with Ukrainians. You know, some kids from the Ukrainian ladies, they go to kindergarten and so forth. And they because they know Charu, now they know Murari, our small one, and they thought, okay, let's make an excursion. And they had with my wife, because of course they have some connection with her. They made the agreement, okay, they come, they will have a look at the cows, and they will have a look at the temple. And in preparation, they sang already the Hare Krishna song in the kindergarten. That's it. You know, so this is how we influence the society or our surroundings here, you know. And if I hear such comments, then I think, okay, we did not everything wrong. Because there were times here where we were considered a sect. There was barbed wire around the property, and we had cameras on the door, and we considered everybody else demons. This was probably not the best preaching, because they understood we are the demons outside. You know. So, and it was very difficult to let people in. Now, luckily, it changed. And I'm kind of happy that I came after this time into the movement. because I don't know if I could have stayed in this movement if it's like this, right? And also to the point of being, you know, of shaved clean or whatever. In the when out of the time where I came from, when I was young, to have a clean shaved head was a was not a good thing. You know, I was still then immediately you were put into a political corner and you were considered very aggressive person. You know, I come from this time. So, you know, I know also in this time that devotees, even Sankirtan devotees, they had quite a bit of hair. You see in the installation video of Nrsingadev, all the Sankirtan devotees, they had quite some hair. Almost like Chandrasekhar Prabhu. No, but you know, this was because in this time it was kind of, okay, you have a bald head, you a skinhead. Skinhead, right. So anyway, this was just, thank you, Mataji, for this very nice.
In Middle East, Prabhuji, nobody wears dhoti outside because from where I'm working in Dubai. So all of us, we come in our normal clothes, and men change once they enter the house or wherever we have the program. So as you said, it is time, place, and you know, wherever it is required. Yeah. That's,
there comes my Indian wife.
Thank you.
Good Radhiva. And yeah, thank you. Any other comments? No. Kripa Sindhu Prabhu.
Thank you. I don't know where to start, but because you Chaitanya Charitamrita, you talked about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's also this statement we know when there's the question, who is a devotee? And then also we know this answer that a devotee is he who others reminds of Krishna. So in reference to clothing means also dhoti reminds me of Krishna. So, and you also mentioned that therefore this is one aspect why to wear a dhoti. And also on the street, because others see us, they see a dhoti, oh, you're from Hare Krishna, yes. Why? Because you wear a dhoti, I know it. So that is preaching, that's also preaching.
Why a dhoti reminds you of Krishna?
Because Krishna also wears a dhoti. Krishna does not wear trousers.
How you know?
We know that Krishna wears a dhoti. You can Brahma Samhita. You know, the Srimad Bhagavatam full of descriptions, Krishna wearing a saffron
but
or yellow
in
dhoti.
India, many people wear a dhoti, and they are, you know, they're not always Vaishnavas. And many people on the West, I mean, I recognized they don't know that Krishna wears a dhoti. So they see somebody wearing a dhoti, they're thinking we put on a bed sheet. Mm. This is also many times there. And I think dress code can be applied. And if there's a cultural event, if we are going down, like for years ago, we had this Ratha Yatra in Passau, where we are representing the Vedic temple in Jandelsbrunn, then this is most appropriate. And when somebody comes here, kind of want to experience Indian culture, especially also for our Indian guests, what I think, well, wow, they dress like my grandparents did, and this is very nice, then that I think that's very appropriate. But if we go out and without the dhoti, remind somebody of Krishna by our behavior, then I think this is the real success. Because I can put like this moti. We had some, you know, this this pub figures of Modi standing there. It reminds me also of Modi, but it is not Modi. So I can put anybody else in a dhoti, put on tilak on him, and hopefully he reminds somebody of Krishna. But he is not a devotee.
So anyway, for sure it is easier to remind Krishna if you see a person in devotional clothes. Because
Depends on
the first thing you see a person, you don't know about his behavior, or if he's a gentleman or not. You see, it's just you see him. So, just by the way, sorry, but another point you made this example that time, place, and circumstances, and a devotee goes out on the street in the winter time, freezing cold with a dhoti, then you will ask, "Excuse me, are you serious?" Similarly, if a person comes to a temple where I know it's about spiritual life, and we are in the morning program, and you see a person in a tie and suit and trousers, similarly, we can also say, "Excuse me, sir, are you serious?"
Well, not
Especially when someone is leading. For example, you're leading a kirtan, ties, trousers, long hair, Hare Krishna. Are you a devotee, or what's going on here? There's the same example. "Excuse me, are you serious?"
Well, I don't think you can compare this to it, but I think you are pointing out, and I know Chandrasekhar Acharya would like to comment on this, so I will not comment. I want to give Chandrasekhar Prabhu the word, because I think that reverse to him. And again, I don't hope we go now here in an argument, otherwise I will finish the class, because I think not people come here to hear about dress codes in general.
First of all, there's a purport from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to one of the verses from the Bhagavatam that Devamrita Maharaj refers to in one of his Vyasa Puja offerings to Prabhupada, in which Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the discussion about Yukta Vairagya, discussions about applications of preaching techniques, as you so nicely said, for the sake of saving conditioned souls, is actually, he calls it, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur calls it confidential topics meant for most fortunate souls, the confidential topics of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in one way we could say these discussions are not at all superficial or not at all irrelevant to Krishna Bhakti, but we could even say on the contrary, because we are all about extending the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and so discussing on how to do that without compromising our principles and so on is actually an extremely important discussion. Narottam Das Thakur talked about Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan, like what distinguishes us in India from non-Vaishnavas, as you also beautifully said, what distinguishes us externally from non-Vaishnavas in India are not saris and dhotis and kurtas and even shikas. This is undeniable that the large majority of people in India who wear dhotis, who wear saris, and who have shikas and who wear Middle Eastern kurtas are not Vaishnavas, but in many cases are meat-eating demigod worshippers, followers of the Advaita Vedanta tradition. In other words, groups that have completely different theological conclusions from those of the Vaishnavas. If there are external distinguishing symbols of the Vaishnavas, it is those symbols that it's not an accident. Also, Rupa Goswami mentions in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, namely tilak and tulsi beads. Tulsi neck beads and tilak are exclusively worn by Vaishnavas and no one else, even in India. So if we are going to talk about representing, then we should talk about representing external symbols which are actually exclusive property of the Vaishnavas, because I don't know about you, but I'm not inclined to represent and to popularize Advaita Vedanta or this or that. And I think you mentioned, you said very well that Vaishnavism is an internal consideration. And yes, absolutely, a Vaishnava in suit and tie, if that the Vaishnava knows scripture and follows the four regulative principles and what to speak of has a family and manages to maintain a family, and on top of that is able to represent the Siddhanta in his suit and tie, that is the wonderful example. Mukunda Maharaj, Ranchor Prabhu in London, I'll finish with this, remembers an anecdote of how before Mukunda Maharaj took sannyas, he was Mukunda Prabhu in London in the early days in the 1960s, 67, 68. He had a job, he had a career. And there are such things as, bivocational preachers or bivocational gurus. As a matter of fact, most Grihastha gurus have their own side, means of making money, and at the same time they're religious leaders. That is in Vaishnavism as well as in Protestant Christian traditions, and in Islam and in Judaism. So Mukunda Prabhu was working, and he would go to the Bury Place temple. Rancho Prabhu personally told me. And he would give class sitting on the Vyasasana, dressed in his suit and tie. And they asked Prabhupada, is that okay? And Prabhupada said, yes, as long as he's well dressed, that's perfectly fine. So we have to ask ourselves, now that ISKCON is a congregation-based movement, and mind you, a congregation in which each member of the congregation has the adhikar to be a guru, to be a GBC, to have the highest ecclesiastical position in our institution, as opposed to the Catholic Church, for example, where you have to be a brahmachari or a sannyasi or the equivalent in order to have any sort of official position in the Catholic Church. We have to ask ourselves, now that our movement is a congregation-based movement, where 90+% of ISKCON membership is made up of financially independent, fixed-up householders, which was not at all the case in the 1970s, when even the few grihasthas that we had were living in full-time, in temples as full-time devotees, or let's say full-time ashram devotees. Now that there's this huge demographic shift from a monastic ISKCON to a householder movement, we really have to ask the question, who does the temple represent? And what the platform of the temple is for who? For monks only, or for householders? And if we agree that it is for qualified householders as well as with monks, then the issue of time, place, and circumstance, especially as it relates to dress, is a very important discussion. I hope also we don't go into more discussion. Prabhu had his one statement, I had mine, and I wish to bow out herewith. Thank you, Prabhu, for your wonderful points.
Hare Krishna. If I see it as a need of discussion, especially between two, and I encourage you, maybe also with others who are interested in this, please meet in a very, constructive way, and just share your viewpoints. And one major thing is what I feel also is there is not something what black and white doesn't exist, because we have to see what are the time, place, and circumstances. I think my feeling when it comes on the altar, this is completely Nrsingadev's home. We do whatever he wants us to be, and as we learned it, and I think as at the moment the head puchari of this temple, I would not allow anybody coming in dress and or in suit and tie on the altar. But in concern of in front of the Lord, being here in the Kirtan hall, I think that's open for everyone in every way he wanna appear, right? And okay. Yes, say so.
I think it's not so difficult. I think the point you made is right. Gentlemen, either dress in dhoti as gentlemen or dress in not devotional clothes as gentlemen. Someone's their devotees, I said, please don't give him a dhoti, don't let him run around dhoti, it looks terrible. And then the other way around also, if you say, you can sing as you like, no, it should be gentle, nice clothes. And someone's devotees dress in dhoti and goes out there, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, it's aesthetic, and it's very, very nice. And you can even go shopping like that, and people will be amazed. Wow, this is wonderful. Or ladies in sari, also very nice. So it just has to be in subjective, and that's the point. More for me actually. And plus internally you should be gentlemen. That is nice. And the externals, should be also nice. And we should be devotees in nice clothing.
Yeah. we should learn how to dress. Maybe that's when you boil it down. Yes.
Special person.
For ACDC shirt.
Yeah, or like he's wearing always like sweatpants. He's wearing always sweatpants, but everybody can see that knows him a bit that he's, out of this world. So maybe not a gentleman like what he says, gentleman materially, but
You would not send him out for preaching either.
He used to do.
But anyway, I mean, but this is also cases. Yeah, that's true. It's also there was in Prague once this Harinam, and they put a new bhakta. He just came to the temple. Said, they shaved him with a sika. What is actually sika is actually a sign of a pramana. You should have it. You should wear a sika when you do fire yagya. Actually, when you pramana, then you have to have a sika actually. But for us, it's kind of Prabhupada said, trademark the flag, he called it, right? So they shaved the person, completely new to the temple, they shaved him, put a tilak on him, put a dhoti on him, took him out for Harinam, and then he went to where they sell sausages, and he ate a sausage. And sure enough, somebody from the press came by, made a photo, and next day in the newspaper, in the Prague newspaper, Hare Krishna's eating meat. From this time on, there was not allowed, I don't know if it was Narakriti Prabhu already who said no bhakta unless they really enter the brahmachari ashram is allowed to wear a sika, especially, and don't put them in dhotis immediately. Be very careful because you don't know what's the background. So exactly the opposite happened, reminding him also of Krishna, but made a mockery out of it. Different sides, different time, place, and circumstances. I think this is the main point. And as Ananda Krishna said, be a gentleman, whatever it is, whatever it takes, get people out of the Vorhof of Maha Rarava. Okay, can we leave it like this? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for all of you, and I'm sure each and every one of you is Prabhupada and Nrsingadev Sri Krishna very, very dear.